Hello, I'm Rob, the guy behind Miscellaneous, and welcome to a new show on the channel called Rob Reviews. This is where I do reviews as myself rather than as Miscellaneous for whatever reason. I don't know. I was thinking of actually doing this when I saw a bunch of shows in New York, but never got around to it. So, here we are now! And today I will be looking at... Hold on, just grabbing a program for, what's this? The SCOTTSBORO Boys, playing at the Ahmanson Theater in Los Angeles. Sorry, I'm just thinking of if I had any other lead-in. None that I can think of. The reason I'm doing the SCOTTSBORO Boys is because when I saw the show last year, I did a video review and put it on my Facebook. Thing was, you see, I felt it fair to do another one. And yeah, sorry if the review ends up being like this, just long pauses while I organize thought. But yeah, so it felt fair to do another one, but last year was a bit of a hassle. Like, I did it off my phone. I had to do this thing called KinCast. It took a while to upload. That one's like 19 minutes, so I figured it would be easier to just do it on my camera, get it on YouTube, put it on the Mist channel as a way to start Rob Reviews, and then just link it to Facebook. So I figured that would be easier. I think that's basically it for the intro. Like I said, I apologize if this gets kind of like disorganized with these pauses and whatnot. And also, there will be spoilers. Yes. So, like I said, in Best New Musical of 2013, I commented on the whole hype thing. How I didn't really... I could have enjoyed it more in San Diego because if I wasn't as overhyped for it. And I commented how maybe it would be better the second go around, because that happens sometimes. Like on Wreck-It Ralph, I really hyped that one up, and until the reveal of who the villain was onward, that did apply. And then the second time I saw it, I enjoyed it more. How did this fare? Well, you really want to know? That happened, yeah, I enjoyed it more this time. Probably more because I knew what to expect from it. The weird thing, I remember it being a more serious tone in San Diego. Maybe I'm just remembering it wrong? It's possible. So, here I go again! Pauses! Yeah, that's the benefit of Mist having a script. But anyway, I'm just wondering where to begin. Okay, the venue, the Ahmanson. I have never been in the Ahmanson before. This was my first time. And the thing with this show is that it is a small show. It's on an intimate level. So, like, the old Globe in San Diego, which is where it was last year, it's an intimate venue. It fit perfectly in there. Other venues, there's this one theater in Palm Desert, the McCallum. I'd love to see it in there. Pantages, it's not the best, it's not that great a venue for it, but they could try. Segerstrom Center for the Arts, it should just stay out of there. But, anyhow, I felt that it worked in the Ahmanson. The Ahmanson was a fine space for it. I don't know if it was worse from the balcony. I was in the mezzanine. I doubt orchestra would make too much of a difference. Yeah, so the venue was fine. I'm gonna come now on might as well just kind of mention it, the interlocutor. In this performance played by Hal Linden. Ask your parents, they probably know who he is. He was fine. Yeah, maybe Ron Holgate in San Diego had a little more of a character, like more of a presence with the interlocutor, but again, Hal Linden wasn't bad. He was fine. His other characters were good. I like at the end when the boys are leaving, they're walking off, and the interlocutor is calling to them like, "Gentlemen, be seated!" And as the sign's going out, and eventually he's just in a sort of defeated, sad, almost begging like, "Gentlemen, be seated!" Who wants yeah, 5 of the cast members from San Diego are returning in this one. They were David Bazemore as Olin Montgomery, Christopher James Culberson as Andy Wright, Clinton Rohn as Roy Wright, J.C. Montgomery as Mr. Tambo, and C. Kelly Wright as the lady. They were nice to have back. Nice choices to have back, actually. Like, especially the lady. She is very good in it. She's excuse me. The reveal of who she is at the end is what won me over a couple years ago, when around the Tonys. It's pretty interesting. Like, just the beginning of the show with her sitting on the bench, and yeah, she doesn't say a word until the very end of the show. And then looking for the bus, gets up, thinks he sees it, no, sits back down. Cakebug takes a sniff, and then you see the thing is like, with time between shows, unless you can find it on YouTube, you're gonna forget certain things, like how stuff was staged. And that happened a bit with this show, so it was like, try something like Avenue Q, where you could find the entire thing on YouTube. This one, it's mainly just a couple bits, not much, so I've just been used to listening to the Off-Broadway cast recording over the past year. And I kind of remembered how the show starts with the booms. It's like, there are those booms throughout the show. They're a great touch. But, yeah, it's pretty intense. Like, just her hand goes to her heart, and right with it comes this loud boom. Like 4 booms, each with a tambourine. And then banjo plays as the Scottsboro... Well, I don't want to say logo, because it's not the one that appears in the promotions, but the title appears behind the curtain. And normally this would be the kind of thing where it's like, hey, it's that moment! Hey, I recognize it! Yay! Fun moment! And, not necessarily in this case, more like just, oh god, this is intense. Oh god, and then now we have the minstrels coming down the aisles. We have, okay, there's another thing. Haywood Patterson, the main Scottsboro boy, is being played by Joshua Henry, who played the role in the Broadway production and was nominated for a Tony Award. Yeah, he was very good. It's definitely a pleasure seeing him. I mean, there are a couple bits a little odd, like maybe a little overdone, like when he gets thrown back in jail after escaping. Clifton Duncan, who played the role in San Diego, may have been a little better there. I mean, the end of that scene where he kind of starts crying was well done. He did really well with the monologue near the end about why he's so against lying. I have to admit, I'm still a little unclear on what exactly he lied about, or was it that because basically he told a lie and he connects it with his mother getting raped, something like that. And I'm unclear on if his lie actually led to that directly, or if he lied that just happened to occur and he blames himself for it. Or the beginning of You Can't Do Me, he was really good there. I have to admit, something I missed from San Diego was when Haywood first steps on the stage after coming down the aisles. In San Diego, the guy was looking out over the audience, like, displeased with, like, not looking forward to doing the minstrel show again, and that makes sense with the character. Joshua Henry didn't do that. Oh well, maybe it's just choices actors make. You know where else come in? The End Men, they were enjoyable. I don't know if... I mean, Financial Advice was a bit more character-y, I guess. Like, oh well, it was good for its style. Kind of funny in the background when the confetti starts falling and Interlocutor's like, what? What? He doesn't actually say that, but... okay, the 2 white women, Victoria Price and Ruby Bates. Victoria Price was being played by Kristen Dante White, who originated the role. That was neat, and he did a very good job with it, pretty good job with that. I was glad with that because just from the cast recording, I'd been preferring the guy I saw in San Diego, Clifton Oliver, especially for the Alabama Ladies reprise, but he improved on the reprise this time. And I have to say that just that scene where Victoria just suddenly appears and does a monologue, it's kind of interesting because of how she, like, a sort of theater, normal theater suspension of disbelief. But is she actually there somehow? Like some sort of spirit? That was unsettling. And then Ruby Bates, Gilbert L. Bailey II, who played the role in Philadelphia. He was very good with his role as Ruby. Reminded me of a friend of mine, actually. Or just... He reminds me of a friend of mine. Like, the look, the voice, vocal mannerisms. And also his Ozzy was very good. Ozzy Powell. Though I have to admit, I think... I kind of prefer the guy from San Diego after he gets shot. Oh well. Okay, some technical stuff. I guess, sound design, okay, there was a couple sound issues, but maybe I'm just gonna assume that was with this production. Otherwise, like, with the sound effects and the band and such, okay, I don't exactly remember off the top of my head what it was up against, but yeah, it really should have gotten sound design. For lighting, the lighting was great, especially some of the patterns and tricks they do. I mean, this is when sitting in mezzanine is better than orchestra, like, when it's not that bad, because you can, like, see some of the lighting tricks they do on the stage, like they project some stars onto there, or spotlights and such. And also exclusive to the show, just some gags when Haywood's learning his letters. But, okay, I remember Book of Mormon having really good lighting. If I remember correctly, I'd have to wait until I see that again to judge. That wouldn't be and that might not be for like half a year or almost a year till I can see that again. But yeah, some great lighting in this one. I'm going to comment now on Willie Roberson. So one of the Scottsboro Boys, and he's the least memorable out of them. Like everyone else you can remember for something. Like, though it's weird this time because he actually does have something you can remember him for, but it's not as obvious as the others. I think he gets the least lines out of the boys. Otherwise, the only one who really doesn't do anything is Charlie Weems, but he doubles as Victoria, so there he gets a kind of a pass there. But seriously, what's up with... Why doesn't Willie have as much of a presence? Did they just have nothing for him then? I mean, everyone else gets something. At least something to them. Like, Clarence is the really angry one, Roy and Andy are the brothers, Eugene's the kid, Olin's the rat, I mean, stuff like that. Okay, I'm also Eugene Williams. I have to say, even though I've seen very little of whoever played Eugene on Broadway, Eugene is the kid, I might have mentioned that, but basically it's just from like the little bit of dialogue he has in Go Back Home, I am not fond of his performance. He's way too cutesy. I mean, like, listen to the kid on the off-Broadway recording. That dialogue, he sounds scared. Like, he's really good. I remember the kid in San Diego being really good, and the kid in the Ahmanson production is really good. He seemed like his fright in this situation. He's very good at playing the character. He's not cutesy, he's pretty legitimate. And this character, one of the character's first lines is, what, is that what rape is? Like, he doesn't know what rape is, he doesn't totally understand the situation he's in. He's supposed to be, like, the youngest of them? Something like that. Do I have much else? I'm sure they have other stuff. What do I mean to say? Oh, okay, here's one. The song Nothing. So I remember in San Diego, the guy playing Haywood was pretty good at doing the Jim Crow style physicalities. And for some reason I was a little skeptical of Joshua Henry being able to do that, so it reaches that part. Joshua Henry's doing the Jim Crow character. That was actually kind of scary. So he has the better end in that deal. Because him, like, the eyes bugging out, the voice changing, physicality, he nailed it in a kind of scary way. I'm just trying to think through this. Breaking the tension. There's stuff I could mention, but just trying to figure out whether or not to actually get them out of the way now. Okay, I'll bring this up. Something I hadn't caught before in San Diego, and so, of course, being more familiar with. No, I pretty much remember the line from San Diego. Just is that at the very end of the show, the lady, Rosa Parks, turns out to be Rosa Parks. Hey, wins me over to the show in 2011. But anyway, so. The driver tells her to move to the back, and she says her only line in the show, which also happens to be the last line. No, not no more. I'm going to sit here and rest my feet. And then does the hand of the heart again, and the huge resounding boom with a, if I may use a film term, hard cut to black. Man, that's just a great moment right there. It's a great ending. Yeah, I'd still say that. I could still say it's a stronger ending than Book of Mormon, because, like I said, I was a tiny bit confused during that ending. I mean, the rest of that show totally lives up to the hype. It's just, I hate when that happens, when everything is great, but the very end is a little, maybe that'll be better second go around. And as for whether Mormon or Scottsboro should have won Best Musical, well, I do still kind of agree with Mormon, but still, I really enjoyed Scottsboro this time. And they're different shows, but nevertheless. So I guess I'm just undecided on that one for now. I just had something of what I was gonna say. What was it? So, oh, right. I'm just gonna finish this up with the lady in the line first. Yeah. Well, the lady who was playing in the Ahmanson and also did it in San Diego's says the line better than the lady on the cast recording. So, yeah. But also, something I hadn't caught before was that earlier in the show when they're being arrested, Haywood says that line. He says, "No, not no more. I'm going to sit here and rest my feet." Ah, nice. Callbacks. Yeah. Do I have much else? Well, yeah, I do have other stuff. Something going in this time was I was a bit more aware of some of the concerns, like criticisms against the show, like, oh, it overplays them as being heroes. We never really get to know them individually that much, or I feel like there are others, or like, oh, here's one, like, what about the other side of the story? The other side. Okay, beginning with the other side one. Okay, so who exactly is the other side? The racist Alabama citizens? Something like that? That would be interesting, kind of getting their perspective, or maybe the judge? The Attorney General? That could be interesting. Oh, it glosses over stuff. Yeah, I guess it does. I mean, I'm satisfied with what we have. That could have been interesting going into more stuff, like the communists, because they're the ones who were helping the boys. That could have been an interesting topic. Or, I don't remember, what was the second one I just had? Never really get to know them as individuals. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in some cases you don't really get to know as much of them as others, like Charlie and Willie, but and I do wonder how it is for people who just go in blind, because I'm the kind of guy who would familiarize myself with them first, at least with this show, like especially like I can keep track of who's who and stuff like that. So I don't. So it's easier for me, but for people who aren't familiar with them, it might be a bit hard. It's probably harder for them. Sorry, for those of you. I had something else. Is it the one I'm thinking of? Okay, here's one about, like, someone commenting, there's this moment where Haywood and Samuel Leibowitz are arguing, and at one point, Leibowitz yells, like, "You're guilty because of how you look!" And then, it's basically, like, the most key point of the argument is treated like this big moment. And, like, there's this long pause, this long silence after he says it. And I remember just reading someone being like, yeah, they're treating it like this big moment when it's obvious. This is something obvious. Yeah, it is obvious. Like, he is kind of just stating the obvious, but I feel it still works. Kind of more as just like, you know, arguing, and at some point you just reach a point where you just reach a silence. And I guess they reached that point. And then we have a nice bit afterwards with Leibowitz being, look, I am going to fight for you until every last one of you is free. So, I'm okay. Okay, here's the finale. The blackface at the end didn't affect me as much this time. I just realized some of this probably makes more sense if you've seen the show or my previous review. Now, I actually haven't watched my old review in a long time. It's actually kind of painful to look at me with my old hair. Maybe I'm just like that. But, so, the blackface, I didn't really hear any gasping. Then again, I didn't in San Diego. But yeah, it's kind of unsettling watching them all as minstrels with the blackface and the suits and such. And then you have their little "Where Are They Now" epilogues, where we learn what happened to them, and some of the show does nicely is juxtaposition, like in Alabama Ladies, when the white women are just happily dancing and singing downstage, and then in the background the boys are being beaten. Or here at the end with this happy, upbeat finale and these really depressing backstories about what happened to the boys. Then there was this bit where, around the end of the song, where, like, kind of like big finish, sort of, and then the lights are kind of like flashing and such, like, yay, big finale, and normally this is the thing where it'd be like, yeah. But this here was more unsettling. Like, oh god. And again, it's part of the atmosphere of this show. Yeah. Again, another pause. I feel like I had something. Did I have something? Could have sworn I had something. I'm sorry for the disorganization of this, like I said before. I just don't want to be like, turn the camera off. Oh, I meant to say that! Yeah, I don't really want to do. I'm hoping to avoid that. I'm gonna spin around to break up the tension. Way. Other way! Yay! Come for the SCOTTSBORO Boys review and see Mist spin around in a chair for no reason. I'm not Mist, I'm Rob. I'm not even in the Mist outfit. Oh well. You know, people associating characters with people. I hate. Believe me, this is really hard on me as well. Not much to say. I hope I get to see this show again. I feel like a lot of the draw to this show for me has been, aside from just the subject matter, it's production history. Just how kind of, like, subdued, I guess is the word, and well performed it is. Because, I mean, granted, it's only been around for like 2 or 3 years, but so was Book of Mormon. That's a huge hit. But again, it's 2 different kinds of shows. Like, Scottsboro was never truly intended for Broadway. It was more intended for just off-Broadway or regionals, which is where it seems to be faring better. I wonder how they'll do in London, because they're going to London later this fall. And, like, with some of the history of this show, like, of the story, like, how American it is, how well will it fare in London? That'll be interesting. I'm not gonna spin again. How long has this been going on? 26 minutes! Yeah. Good thing I'm not doing KinCast again. Yeah, So, yeah, but again, it's kind of... I'm thinking about stuff that makes shows special. Cause, like, so try something like, Book of Mormon or Wicked, like, they're special to see because, you know, they're such big names. Something like Avenue Q, which is very special because it's my personal favorite. Or this show, special because, like, its subject, its history, the history of this production, of this show. Production history, I think I mean. Sounds like this. I really wish I actually had a script for this, but this is more genuine on the moment. I'm almost tempted to just kind of go here and, if needed, put stuff in the description, like little afterthoughts. But yeah, so it was better the second go around. It's still a poignant piece. It's still worth seeing. Like, see it if you can. I mean, it's probably not. It's not really for everyone, I don't think, but like I said, it is worth seeing. Again, hopefully I can see it again. Hopefully, maybe next year it'll come back around. Like, go to that theater in Palm Desert. It's not in that season. Bring it in, like, I'd be up for seeing it again. I would. Not too often, I guess, but it's a good one. I don't know if it's one of the highest ranked. I haven't really bothered ranking shows I've seen, except for Avenue Q, which is just at the top. Or, I guess whatever I designate it as the best new musical of whatever year. But, nevertheless, I still hold this one highly. I still think of this show highly. I can't think of too much else. Again, maybe I will add afterthoughts to the description. Thank you for joining me on this boring review. Hopefully there will be more Rob reviews in the future. Hopefully they'll be more engaging than this one, and be on the lookout for a new episode of Mist soon. It should hopefully be up by Independence Day at the latest. Hopefully, I actually did shoot it, but I'm planning to reshoot it. I have to anyway. I deleted most of the footage so I'd have room for this. Okay, I suppose that is it. Take care.